I'm trying to think if we got anything else.
Poppin', things we were going to discuss.
I don't know. I mean, we got New Year's and Huskies, right? We'll have already played.
Yeah,
and
so it's
are
not
on their way to championship game.
God, I hope so.
Does the Pop-Tart Bowl overshadow everything?
Dude, it is the meme that has taken over college football Twitter. It is for everything. It is everywhere. It's hilarious, ridiculous, and delightful all in one.
A little foam.
Did you just slurp the can that we're all going to drink out of? Welcome to another episode of the American Beer Review Podcast.
Good times with good friends requires good beer. Lucky for us, we know how to pick all three.
We're a group of friends who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, giving us a jump start on our craft beer journey.
Join us today while Brian... I pride myself on not getting to know other people, so do not put that on me.
Alec.
So the bananas up until like the 60s were an entirely different species of banana.
And Chad. It hit me like a wrecking ball.
Review some beer, talk about beer topics, and whatever else comes up. We invite you to pour yourself a drink and hang out with us.
No, this is my backup.
That's his side beer.
Oh, okay.
My backup.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Take a picture for the gram.
I was actually about to put in an article into the thing.
What?
I know. And it was some top 25 beers of the year list. And I was like, well, I've never had any of these. So
I kind
it's not worth it. Like,
review those two and go.
I was like, what's the point of me being like, hey, yeah, cool. I know that brewery.
Right.
Like, so I was like, well, I haven't had any of these. So
I threw that top 30 breweries list also.
okay, that one. Let's talk about that one. Let's get a beer going. Okay. And let's talk about that one.
All right. We're starting with.
So we're starting out the new year.
Yes.
With some hopless beverages.
What?
Not IPAs, I guess.
Oh,
sorry. I was
less hoppy.
I was like,
because your theory on drinking too much hoppy beer.
Oh yeah, talk about that while I pour this.
Because you said you had a little experience, didn't you?
Yeah. So Alec's employer was very nice to allow him to bring me to the Kraken game the other day when 2 weeks ago, I guess, not the other day.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, where they absolutely stomped the shit out of them.
That was a huge one.
Yeah, crushed Chicago. But they had the Hop Valley Stash IPA.
The Kraken Stash or whatever. Yeah,
Kraken Stash, the official IPA of the Seattle Kraken. So I had 2.5 of those. But after every single one, I had a water.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a couple of Coors Light, which more water.
More or less.
Went to bed.
Yeah.
Felt great.
Woke
up the next morning. Oh my God.
Yes.
What the hell happened?
Yes. And it's the worst thing because like I really like IPAs. Like I had one the other day where I was at Tap Room and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get an IPA. And then I remembered that I was picking up like a pack of IPAs and then went back to the house and like had another one. And like of all the times over the break, that was like, still wasn't too bad. It was 2 IPAs spread out over a few hours.
Yeah.
So, like that was still the one day that was like the most brutal. So yeah, man, it really pains me.
Yeah.
It really pains me. But like I have stuck to, for the most part, a 1 IPA a day rule.
Keeps the headache away.
Yeah.
There you go.
It has been way better than throwing back 3 or 4 and just...
Good, because that's what I did on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Tested it. I had the Scrooge Christmas Ale from Silver City.
Nice.
I did not know it was 9.2 when I bought it. I didn't know that until I took the first swig and went, oh God, what is this?
Yeah.
So I had 3 of those.
Okay.
In one day.
Good.
Yeah.
Still felt better than the IPA day.
And then I slowly sipped on a Silver City Tropic, my favorite IPA ever.
Pretty solid.
That felt
way better.
Way better Christmas morning.
Next morning.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a really unfortunate thing, but I think it's the new.
Especially with the prevalence, like everybody's got an IPA. Everybody's got a hazy.
Multiples.
Yeah, you got to have it, and they're all big, heavy.
Yeah.
So that's why
Today we're starting, the Ale Apothecary, their little star. And it is a Saison style ale aged in oak barrels with heather flowers and can conditioned with raw cane sugar. So may take a little bit of a hit on this one.
Okay.
it's not too bad.
Where's it at on here? The ABV. I have it saved.
I want to say it was in the 5s.
6.7 is according to
6.7.
Untapped.
Not bad.
So a little bit about the Ale Apothecary. Paul Arney and Connor Curry are their founders back from 2011. So they've been around for a minute. Inspired by the unnamed brewers of history, our goal is to tie the brewery to the land and create beer with a sense of place. With the raw, soft water that comes out of the ground, with the wild airborne yeast we share with the trees, we hand make our beers without the fingerprint of industrialization, where time and our brewing processes are as important as the barley malt and hops we source locally. Our beer is 100% naturally carbonated, with Oregon honey or fruit juices. We avoid processing aids that are typically used in most contemporary breweries, relying instead on the myth and legend combined with time and experimentation. The result is our own particular brand of magic. Long-term barrel-aged beers are specialty, and we produce a wide variety of wild ales and historically inspired one-offs. All our beer is mashed in oak, boiled in copper, open fermented in wood vats, then barrel-aged until we put the beer into corked bottles prior to maturing in our cellar before we release them to you.
This is a very cool spot.
Yeah.
I dropped that YouTube video of kind of their behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's got basically like a little barn that's about the size of a 2-car garage, and it's just filled with the barrels of everything fermenting. He does, built a, I don't know if it's Norwegian or Swedish, but the way they lauder, it's just, they hollowed out this big spruce tree.
Oh, really?
Put the spruce boughs in there to kind of filter it. Then they put the mash over it, and then that's how they're, instead of a mash tun, they're just using this traditional Swedish or Norwegian style for mashing out. So very, very traditional way. And I love that everything is bottle conditioned.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that sort of a homebrewers mentality, but
way more work than we ever put into home brewing.
But this is like how it was industrialized before we had all of this specialized brewing equipment. If you were a brewer back in the day, this is the way you made your beer.
Well, and so this one's a collaboration with
Old Standby,
and it's a collaboration for charity. So I don't know.
I didn't
see what the
charity was.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, I'll post it in the link.
There you go. Perfect.
When we drop the episode.
Huh? Yeah. So, and I'm looking. So they're at a Bend. I don't know if you'd actually said that.
I did not, but
so their brewery's closed to the public, but they have a tasting room kind of in town. I mean, it is in town. It's just not like in the downtown space that you think of, like Old Bend. I don't know. I'm both like, there's so much of what you said in that story that I'm like, oh my God, that is so impressive. That sounds like a lot of work. So like, this has to be something you're really passionate about. It has to be something that you're like just wanting to do, or to make your thing. Because man, all I heard in that was like, oh God, like this is a lot.
But it's been working for 13 years.
Yeah, which is interesting. And so, because I mean, it's years ago that I did a beer trip to Bend, and we didn't go here. And but I don't know,
because these guys appear to be in the middle of the woods.
Well,
they aren't on the
brewery
the normal,
but the tasting room is like
in actual Bend.
Yeah, and it's actually not that far from where we like stayed or went during the time. So yeah, it just is not one that like it wasn't obvious. Like, oh, okay, I know exactly that spot, or I've heard of it. It was all new to me. So, yeah, it seems pretty impressive. Oh yeah, I'm seeing where it is now. Yeah, was like less than a mile away from where we stayed. So,
Okay.
the tasting room. So, yeah, it says that the brewery's closed to the public just to kind of be kind to the neighbors.
Yeah.
Basically,
Oh,
they're
okay.
like at their cabin house or something like
Yeah.
that with
Well,
neighbors around. And they're
There's not a
running.
lot of operating room from watching the video.
Yeah.
It's not set up for brewery tours.
Well, and
It's-
if you're doing an open fermentation, primarily, you kind of don't
Probably
want a
won't.
whole lot of traffic through
Yeah.
there.
Can't imagine that's going to be
stirring
ideal
up
for that.
dust and all that stuff, you want it to naturally. Speaking of the beer, this is very nice.
It is really
This is
smooth.
awesome.
Like
It's a very smooth saison.
it's kind of perfect hints of everything with nothing too above and beyond. You catch the aroma like I was looking at the can, and you
Mhm.
got enough of the aroma just coming off of the can
Mm-hmm.
without even having to smell it from your glass. You're getting just a little bit of like the earthiness, but it's not like over abundant. It's not like really like grassy or anything.
No,
It makes
And it's just a hint of the sour.
I was gonna say just
like-
a touch of the sour at
Yeah.
the finish.
that it really is like a really solid, easy drinking one. A little boozier, not tasting wise, but just percentage wise than I would have expected.
6.7, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm liking.
It's really light too. Like it is
Super clear.
very clear. I mean, for just some of the processes and things that they said they're going through, like
for it to be so clear with a wild natural fermentation and equipment.
And no filtration or
Yeah.
no industrial.
yeah, because that's more what I was thinking of. Is
Filtration.
like that aspect of it. Uh-oh.
Hang on,
Who did it?
time out. There we go.
Okay.
And we're back.
That's the only benefit, I guess, of the headphones. I
Yeah,
know when that's
yeah,
happening, and I know
exactly.
when to stop. Alec is oblivious to it.
Mhm. Entirely.
Yeah, I'd like to try more from them and to see kind of the other stuff.
This is the first time I've seen them pop up on Tavour. I
Okay,
don't
so
think
that's where you got it from, because it's
Yeah.
local enough that it
You could-
potentially could
and
be.
they have a. I think if I read it right, they have a ale club.
mm,
Okay.
But you can. I think you can join it, and then they will. Hey, we'll put your beer in a box. The back you can come down and pick it up.
Oh,
So
we're not
this is-
shipping it to you.
Okay.
So this is one of those ones like maybe you join the beer club,
Yeah.
and then you do a quick cannonball run down to Bend. It's only
Yes.
3 or 4 hours. You just
It is more than that. I
uh
got their tasting room address right here.
Yeah, it's about
Let's
6.
Do a real quick. Yeah, I was going to say it is 218 miles away, and you're driving through the mountains. So we're going with 5.5 hours.
I can do it 4.
now.
Yeah.
As long as there's no snow and then close the pass.
Yeah. I've driven it. It's a really nice drive.
It's a beautiful drive.
I want to go back. I don't know that I want to do that drive with kids. So that part is a hesitant.
Got to wait like another couple of years
Yeah.
and then invest in some tablets.
Got one so far, but
And
yeah.
But there's enough spots going down to Bend. You could
You
you
would-
could make a stop,
Yes.
grab lunch.
you don't
You would
have you don't
have to.
you don't have children.
No, I don't.
Stopping is the worst. The production of getting in and out of the car, you're like, we could have been there.
I
by now.
agree. I'm
So
just
you don't
thinking of,
you don't
like,
keep like a old milk jug and go, nope, we're not stopping. Use it. Fill it up. Fill
We
it up,
have
kids.
NASCAR style pit stops at the rest areas. We are in and out, but
I
yeah,
am gone in
it's
3 minutes.
even going over to Moses Lake.
Yeah.
Like if we're going into Ellensburg,
You have to stop in Ellensburg.
No, you don't.
Not with
Because
kids.
by the time you get off and then you find the restaurant and then whatever, and then obviously then somebody also has to go to the bathroom, and we could have been to the damn house by now.
I just think that we drove back from
Bellingham or
Yeah.
whatever to
and then like we're at home for like an hour and did a turnaround to go to Tacoma to meet some friends. And basically, if my youngest was not asleep in the car, he was very loudly crying
Yeah.
for like all of that trip.
Oh yeah, it's miserable.
So, but get him a little bigger. What Bend is just like, I think there's tons of cool stuff
Down there, you just
like I want.
you're not doing a day trip.
No, but I want to. Yes, that's
No,
going back to
no.
that. I want to be bigger and like do the river surfing. Like let's raft down the river.
Yeah.
Let's like get bikes and ride
It's a-
around
it's a
town.
great-
Spend a weekend.
It's a great
Yeah.
long weekend. Get down there
Yeah.
Thursday.
And I would add that to this. I don't know. This might need to be like a dad sneaks off on my own. For this type of like the vibe, and maybe this
Yeah.
is just me. Judging.
This does not feel family friendly. in
That's
their
kind of where I'm
tasting
going.
room.
Is like, yeah, that's where this is like. I need some quiet, reflective time.
Yeah, but you leave them all in the Airbnb.
Getting closer to the earth by drinking this more
There you go.
naturally
Take
done.
Take off our
beer.
shoes.
Yes.
Feel the earth beneath our feet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, where the location is, it doesn't look
Yeah.
like they're going to have that. But yeah.
I just wanted to point out part of that video. The head brewer used to work at Deschutes Brewing.
Okay.
I would like to know a percentage of brewers in Bend who have not worked
it.
at Deschutes previously. I'm going
I'm
to go
going
out
to guess it's a very low percentage.
because of them coming, people coming from out of state. I would put it at least like I'm going to go with 50% of head brewers
Had
in Bend
some
have
connection.
some Deschutes experience or connection or something.
Whether they be washing kegs or actually
Oh yeah,
working
for
on the
sure.
line, yeah.
That at some point there was like a
But I think
process
that
there.
was something we mentioned last year.
what?
Part of our coaching when we were talking about beer coaching trees.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's still,
Yeah.
this is probably still one of the, outside of like, the trades, the electricians and whatnot
Oh, yeah.
like that, where you still have almost a,
Like an apprenticeship. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can find some people who do it on their own coming out of just like they figured it out and did it. But so many are done through the process of like going to someone, learning under them, and
Right.
starting like literally at the bottom.
Yeah.
Fridging.
This is a great saison.
It just is so like it's such a simple like I hear all the stuff that he did and
Right,
it
and
makes
that's-
me like stress that I'm missing something.
That's exactly where I was going. Like all of the steps that went into it: oak barrels, can
Yes.
condition, raw cane sugar, and it's just so clean,
it's a
crisp.
simple, clean, smooth drinking farmhouse.
Yeah.
Like I could do I want sunshine, I want like
Wow. That
a little bit more, but like outside sitting with this type of thing and like just getting a little bit of that.
Just
kind
hear
of
the
sourness.
din of nature in the
Yeah.
background. Just
So for me, I would do a seasonal probably of this.
yeah, and probably not this season.
No. But like spring into summer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like as that change is going, and then maybe a little in the summer, I would consider getting that. So
This is like a while you're grilling
yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
So it's warm enough to be outside in a t-shirt. I'm working on something, nobody's bothering me, and I'm going to sip on something for
Yeah.
the
Because
half hour while I'm
I almost feel like I want to say like a lawn mowing beer, but more like you're
This-
supposed to be mowing the lawn, but you're just like
oh, you have it running in the background,
kind
so
of
the family
standing
thinks you
around,
are,
just like
and-
sipping and doing it.
I'm glad you said this is like I'm having this the first mow of the year.
Oh,
It's
Okay.
just spring. The grass has been growing like crazy. Maybe it's a little kind of misty out.
Yeah.
Still the grass, and it just smells great on
Mhm.
that first mow. That first time you hit that cut grass smell, that's what this reminds me of.
yeah. Also, I don't know anything about Old Standby. We didn't really
touch
give
on them. Yeah, I didn't
a
realize that
chance.
until
Yeah.
at the end. If you want to do a
Let me
half
see what I
minute,
can
I'll get the next
find real
round.
quick.
I'm with Brian. This is a seasonal
Oh, okay.
beer fridger.
Yeah.
And I just want to
Uh,
echo the same thing that you said about all the things that went into it.
Yeah.
and they just all blend together. Sometimes we've had some beers where you hear all the wild and crazy things they do, and they try to make you taste every single
element.
one. And they just, instead of just going, you know, we're going to do all this, and it's gonna figure itself out in the barrel, which this does.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic saison.
How many do they do? Different beers.
I didn't look. I just got to Old Standby, so I'll have to go back.
Throwing too much at you.
But Old Standby out of Salem. This other one that somebody checked in is called a Higher Purpose Oregon Lager, and they said it is charity collab number 11 with Steeplejack Brewery. So
going back to that video of their process, it looked like every single barrel had like a little different thing going in it. So this could be like one of those places that, you know, they got 200 beers, but it's because, you know, hey, we did the same recipe twice, but you got different wild yeast, all that stuff.
They this Old Standby really seems to be leaning into some of the charity stuff and doing the different versions. So they
could be a gross brewer.
They have a
for
what?
They could be a ghost brewer.
Ghost. I heard gross brewer.
I did too. I just was going to let it go. So they have like a Jameson Oaked Irish Stout Black is Beautiful version. They did Brave Noise, which I think was, I want to say it was like an LGBT like beer. So they're really doing a lot of the different ones that are coming around for that. They only have 42 different beers on here. But yeah, a little microbrewery out of Salem. So I'm trying to see if I can get real quick back to Ale Apothecary, and they have on here 348.
Okay.
And most
compared to Old Standby.
I think everything they do is in a bottle.
Well, and the thing
kind of like what's the guys you said down in Texas, Jester King?
Oh,
same
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, because they're all like wild ale type stuff.
All wild ale.
And that kind of makes sense for them doing, not trying to do the same.
Right.
Like, what consistency are you able to hit the same recipe we're doing?
Out the window if you're aging for that long.
And you're banking on wild yeast.
Yeah.
Yep. And barrels and whatever, rotating all of that. So,
Yep.
yeah, no, I think this is a seasonal beer for me too.
All right.
Very, very tasty though.
Yeah.
Excellent beer.
Very, very much up my alley. We are flipping gears and doing something entirely different.
Yeah, there's no hops, but it's still going to kick you in the teeth.
There are hops.
IBUs.
There are less hops.
Yes.
Less hops, sorry.
Did you do research and find out that you can actually have 0 IBUs? Because I sure as shit did.
I know that you can, but do you mean with hops or no?
Oh, you called us out. No zero IBU. It's impossible.
Did I really?
Yes.
Oh.
You can have a 0 IBU beer. You're just not using bittering hops. This is where Chad
splices in the audio.
It's recorded.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Flavor to it.
So if you're quitting hoppiness, stouts and porters tend to be closer to the 0 IBU.
And they get more of their
very low IBU.
You can't do 0.
We've had 2 beers today that were 0 IBUs.
That's impossible. It's all right. I'll just act like my son and be like, yeah, I did. I mean, no, I didn't.
I hope I can find the audio now.
All right. So let me pour this around. This is a very, very, very different beer.
Okay, yes. So this, though, feeds into, going back to the no IPAs or less IPAs thing.
Yeah.
So in my drinking of less IPAs, I wake up feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I have mostly, particularly probably because of what season it is, I have switched my IPA drinking for dark beer drinking.
Okay.
The calorie count is considerably different.
Yes.
From just a standard West Coast IPA to like an Imperial Stout or any of those types of things. So I don't know how I feel about that, but that's what I've made a change to.
So this second beer of the episode or the day is, take a look at the can. So this is Forefathers Brewing, and it is their Oh man, Viking Funeral Imperial Stout, a double milk Imperial Stout at 10.4% ABV with 0 IBUs.
Now, and the reason why I just want to say this because I'll let you back to it.
Look at it.
The reason why I kept saying that every time Chad would say no hops is it literally says on the side of the can water, malt, hops, yeast.
No, it has hops.
Yes.
Yes.
It's bittering hops versus So this one is a brutal imperial stout brewed with 10 different grains, including rye malt, honey malt, and a touch of smoked malt. Lactose, cocoa nibs, and local honey give it a decadence worthy of Valhalla. Savor now or cellar for future conquests.
Don't cellar a canned beer.
No, don't do that. But
No.
metaphorically, I guess.
I mean, if they sell it in bottles as well, that would be the ones that you can cellar.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I would not cellar a can for very long.
A can
I don't
past 6 months is
Dicey.
yeah.
And out of Valparaiso, Indiana.
So fun fact,
Okay.
I did research for
Okay.
these episodes, right?
Okay.
I try to be the one that does some of the research. Chad buy the beer.
I tried for a week.
Yeah, Chad buys the beer.
Oh no, our producer buys the beer.
Okay, our
My,
producer.
my brother buys me the Tavour gift card.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
right.
He's going to get EP once we're profitable.
So Chad picks out the beers. Brian knows about beers, is the beer nerd.
I guess.
So I
yeah.
try to fill in the gap and doing a little bit of research. I did probably 30 minutes of research on, I mentioned Forefathers Brewing.
Mhm.
There's a Forefathers Brewing based out of Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
That's forefathers and their sons who started making beers, and I had a whole deal set up for talking about them. This is an entirely different
Yes.
brewing company.
I did the exact same thing.
Did you?
Yes.
Good. So then I don't feel as bad.
I originally dumped that the Ontario Canada one into the Discord.
Maybe
Oh.
that's
And then
where,
I clicked into it and I went, weird, I can't find the beer. And then went, oh, wrong one. This Forefathers.
Yeah, so they are, we said Indiana.
Southeast of Chicago.
So founded as a home brewery. Jason Lackney, 2009. So again, they've been around for a while. And developed its craft. So 2014, they opened their doors. And they named it Forefathers, not after four dads, but the Forefathers beer, water, malt, hops.
You mean water, malt, hops, yeast?
Water. Yeah, beer is consisted of water,
But beer
malt.
is not one of the
Okay.
fathers.
Water, malt, hops, and yeast is
Beer is the son.
byproduct.
That's right. Better way to say it.
Anyway, yeah, that's what they named theirs after. But yeah, no, I did a ton of research, and so I know a lot about Forefathers out of Canada.
Ooh. Oh, that's
Oh.
got a.
So
That
it's
is
Oh,
interesting.
Viking Funeral.
there-
I don't know if we mentioned that. It is. We mentioned it's an imperial stout, lactose, but it's a chocolate chipotle.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're gonna-
okay.
I thought I said that, didn't I?
No,
no.
no, it wasn't. In
That
the-
makes a lot more sense.
I
Because
thought
here
I
I
said
am.
I thought I said something about your tum tums.
You did look at the can.
Not close enough, I guess. I was looking at the location. I was looking at that thingy.
Okay. This definitely isn't Pepper Belly. Fun fact: they had more bottles of Pepper Belly at Total Wine yesterday. I did not get any.
Thank you. When I went in, I'm trying to even look at but I was reading along the thing that you were reading.
Okay,
There is nothing.
about chipotle in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is not cool, man.
On the name of the beer in Tavour, it had 2023 tacked on
Okay.
the end, so that usually indicates to me, okay, this is a varietal.
Yeah,
A
they
seasonal
even have it on
varietal,
here
yeah.
too.
The-
I mean, it does make sense when you're talking about it being like funeral, like it's a burning, like that's.
It's not bad. Chipotle is
No,
always
but I'm
a
just
little more
saying the
subdued,
naming
anyways.
to have
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
spice in
Yeah.
it, like
Well, and that's an awesome logo with
it
the
just.
Yeah, I love
the
it.
ship in front of like flames. That's
Yeah, I'm gonna
real-
be having fun with the post on this one.
I
There you
was
go.
just a little more like ready for like a milky
More More chocolate.
chocolatey,
Yeah.
like creamy, and
Especially when they're saying there's lactose in it, and
It's creamy.
and then I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with me, or what did I do wrong that my mouth was a little bit burny, and I'm like, is something wrong with this? Is something like
it's subtle.
it's
I mean,
not? It is not.
There's enough there that you have to call it out.
Yes. Thank you.
For sure, but it's not one that I would.
Do you caution somebody if they're ordering
No.
it?
No, you got to give them a heads up that hey, it's
No, that's what I'm saying.
there's
It's
some
like,
spice in this beer.
if someone rolls in and they're like, "Ooh, Imperial Stout," like hit me with that one. Do you have to let them know? Hey, there is a little bit of like a pepper in here.
Because I don't know if you have to because it's in the name of the beer. Chipotle. When it's listed.
I mean,
It depends
Viking
on how
Funeral.
and where. Okay, chocolate chipotle. You're right.
it says it on the
Yes.
can.
Okay, when you see it like this, I've never
and
seen it.
if you're at a bar, it's on the board. It's going to say
Okay,
chocolate
no,
chipotle.
now I'm going back here to look at my Untapped and see what it says.
So I would say it's not spicy.
It does not say anything about Chipotle on Untapped.
because I read the Untapped
And the name doesn't
description.
say it. The description doesn't say it.
Well,
It's not even in a descriptor.
No,
That
no,
sounds
no.
like an Untapped problem.
That's from their
Or
website.
is this?
I'm pretty sure this is a varietal.
This is a
of normal-
variation of it.
Yeah, there's a normal Viking funeral. This is
Oh,
this is a
this-
varietal. of
okay.
it.
That
Okay,
makes
so
sense.
I think we all got a little.
Well, not really.
Over our skis a little bit.
Yeah. All right. I'm digging a little deeper here now. Yep. Viking Funeral Chocolate Chipotle 2023. That is a different
Yes.
beer
Oh,
that has all the same things that you said from that same descriptor.
with Chipotle.
Viking Funeral with more cacao nibs and infused with chipotle peppers. Okay. So, hey folks, don't make the same mistake we did.
We did. Not a mistake. This is pretty tasty.
This is really tasty.
Oh no, I just mean the fact that like
Oh, all
I'm
of us are
literally
going,
reading this and I'm
"What's-
like laying into these.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What's
Like
off?
the beer has turned. The beer has gone bad.
This is one of those things that is there's so many different breweries doing
Mhm.
a base beer and then
Mhm.
varieties of it. It's kind of funny. We talk about how Iron Horse does this with
The
Irish Death.
Yeah.
and then we have this little but that Untapped needs a little thing go, "Hey, here's all the here's the
varieties,
varietals
yeah.
of this beer." That'd be a nice little feature to have.
Yeah, because this one's got smoky chipotle and chocolate as the flavor profile, and
Yeah.
smoky
definitely
and
smoky
were not
chipotle.
there. Yeah.
But I like that they picked a base beer that has no IBUs in it, so that it is only the chipotle giving me
That's popping.
giving me that
Mm.
That hop replacement in this.
Yeah.
It's a nice counterbalance to the thick. It is pretty thick because lactose.
Oh, it's super dark and
beyond dark.
heavy.
We'll have a nice little photo of it being poured here.
My only knock on them is, as I was doing the research, is you go to their website. Once I found the correct website,
Mm-hmm.
and you go to their beer list, and it trying to make our tap room is one place you can try the full myriad of Forefathers creations. We constantly rotate our taps to include all of our regular beers in addition to seasonal beers, and then they go on for a lot less, but there is no information on
On the website,
any of their beers.
they're like, "Hey, come
they're-
here and figure it out."
Our beer list is, we have beers. Come here and whatever. They have a wall of honor for like their best beers, stuff like that. But that's why I went to Untapped
Oh, yeah.
to find information
They at
on
least do have a decent like descriptor in each of the beers on Untapped.
it. Yeah.
So like each one does kind of explain it. Even with once I finally found the Chipotle one, it's like, hey, it's this beer with this thing. So if you want to know about the base of it, go to that one.
Yeah, I tend not to go to Untapped for this podcast.
Because I do that and only do that.
Well, there's that, but it's also, I don't know whether it's the brewery putting that quote up there or
Yeah, is it
whether
first-hand information or
No,
secondary?
It usually
almost
is
always.
lifted.
It is. You can tell when somebody has tried to create one in like place of like, so it's like if a new beer has come out and they're trying to, you can almost always tell.
I believe in true journalism. And so I want to verify the facts. And so I go to the website, and when the website's like, we have beer,
Yeah.
come in and drink it.
They have a Samoa beer
Ooh.
with caramel and toasted coconut.
Somebody might have that on a watch list.
There you go.
Yeah, they and then I also, the top 3 that they have are all these like stouts or imperials. So Viking Funeral, Samoa Delight, and Sloth Love Chunk.
There you go.
I don't know. All I know is that name, and I'm into it.
Hey, you guys.
Mhm.
Peanut caramel and is it okay when it's COCOA? Cocoa
Cacao?
or cacao? Like,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, like as one of the ones you read, it actually says like it was like COCO or something, and I'm like, okay, that one.
That's cocoa.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that one.
Coca-Cola.
But does it need to have like that accent on it to know that it's like cacao?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is a good beer.
That I will not drink again.
This little pour
Perfect.
is enough for me.
This would be one.
This is a 4 or 5 ounce sipper.
So this is a perfect flight.
Yes.
Excellent flight beer.
Yep. It's a flight beer. I need this much of it to know that it's tasty. It's delicious. The spiciness is not nearly as bad as some of the other pepper beers that we've had.
Any spice is more than I want, really, in my beer. That and pickles. I don't want
spice
them.
Don't spice my beer, bro.
Especially don't spice pickle my beer.
Ooh. Well,
I hate you all.
Okay. Duly noted.
it's tasty. Like I'm not dumping it out.
No.
Right.
And really, I get like the full flavor profile of the beer.
Yeah.
And I think this is where I was like, what is going on with the first one? Because it's like, okay, I get this like creaminess, I get the chocolate, like a little roasty, and then you're like, hey, what's that last thing that's coming? Like, oh, there's something, oh my God, my mouth. And not that bad. Like I'm not like running for water.
Not spitting it out or whatever, yeah.
But it's a little more spice than expected and necessarily.
I like that. We've had some that have had that habanero, and that's a little more heat.
Oh,
Chipotle
yeah.
is always
Just a smoother.
it seems like you can get a large variety of Chipotle flavors
Without so much of the heat.
across multiple. Like people do Chipotle everything now.
Yeah.
I like how this fits in with the darkness and the thickness of the beer, the chocolate kind of playing in the background. I'm with you guys. This is a good beer, but this is just not. This is a nice. I'm going to a party, or this is just a one-time unique flavor.
Could be. Yeah.
Bring a fun beer party.
Yeah. I want to try the normal Viking Funeral.
When I
can find
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I think that is going to be
a nice chocolate stout.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are starting to show up now. Fingers crossed. We start seeing some more of that along with the saisons and other less hoppy new beers. Let's start finding other ways to find new flavors and new rediscover. Somebody was saying the emergence of the pale ale again. Everyone's realizing if you
it's my go-to now with IPAs.
if you pair down the hops in an IPA, all of a sudden you got a very delicious pale ale. What if people start doing? Oh, I want a juicy pale ale. I want a hazy pale. I've already seen hazy pales, but
if you can find, as you add to your wall tin collection or poster collection, man, if you found a Viking funeral wall tin, that
I'm working on it.
That would be
any breweries who are listening right now, tin artwork.
It's a big bummer that Odin Brewing just shut down.
I know that sucks.
Which
we'll segue because that was the next topic I was going to bring up.
We'll go to that, and then I do want to get to the 30 beer/brewery list we talked about.
Okay. Yep.
Because it also reminded me of that when it's just recapping the year and talking about closures. pour one out for another Tacoma brewery.
Going out of business.
Rip.
Yeah, I'm like, it's heartbreaking to see these places that this one particular. So news came out recently that Odd Otter Brewing in Tacoma is closing
At the end of the year. So closed as of now.
In like 2 days.
Yeah, when it's released. So I'm going today.
Yeah.
After the recording of this. Spoiler: we don't record it the day we release. Because
Shocking.
It is. I watched their build out on
Because what they
social
started,
media.
They started on what, 2013?
2009, 9 years ago.
Okay.
So they're right about
So you're doing right.
end of 15.
Okay.
Or yeah, but I watched their build out on social media.
Yeah.
Found out about them as they were going through and building that process and driving around town to see where it is. It's in a great spot in downtown Tacoma by a lot of other, and this is the part.
It's in that beer district, isn't it?
No,
Or is it
no,
it's not.
And this is the problem. I don't know that another brewery is going to be able to go in there. Maybe because of the stuff that's there, but I think the city is pushing to keep breweries in that brewery district.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe the downtown space makes it different than being in a more like neighborhood. I'm worried that a brewery is not going to be able to go in there, and that whole kind of just thing is going to get lost. But this is what is concerning for me when you look at beer and craft beer is they're surrounded by other restaurants. They're surrounded by a space that you think would draw people in at any time of day or night.
Yeah.
If of anywhere in downtown Tacoma other than the
beer
breweries.
district.
But I've
Yeah.
also been there. I mean, it was like a Thursday night. I've been in the brewery district and it wasn't that busy.
Yeah.
But down here, you have multiple restaurants. You have tasting rooms for wineries. You have McMinimans up around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there has been a nightlife in Tacoma, it's a section that people have talked about. It's not possible, but like closing off to
Foot traffic
and
only.
making it foot traffic only, and it would be
It'd be
phenomenal.
tough.
It's because of the thoroughfare
Yeah,
there
yeah.
to get
Yeah.
out to Ruston. But if a brewery like that, I mean, they were 2 to 2, like 2 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah.
for almost as long as I've known them. So I would have loved a little bit earlier opening, but I get it. Like, if a brewery like that does events, draws people in, is fairly beloved in the community, doesn't have a wide, and if this is maybe
Distribution. Yep.
what kind of killed them,
Having to lean on that
is
on-site
that has
sales.
been the crusher for
Lots
breweries.
of breweries. Lots
and
of
even
breweries.
tap rooms. I was just listening to a podcast with the owner of Peaks and Pints, and he's like,
You listen to theirs, but not ours?
I hear ours when we do it.
He's hearing it live.
He's like, how do we get the kids to drink draft? You know, like they're coming in and grabbing cans and doing stuff, but you're not getting draft sales, and draft sales have been
It's where your margins are.
yeah. And so, man, it sucks. It sucks to lose one like that. Like I said, it was the first brewery I took my firstborn to, like right before I went off paternity leave. We took him in there. We've gone a handful of times. I don't have the ability to go in weekly or daily to a space. So like when the Anchor Brewing closed and everyone's like, oh no, they're like, oh, now you're sad. You didn't freaking buy their beer before, so how are you gonna be sad? But like, I bought Odd Otter when I could and where I could.
Yeah.
You know, they had some 4-pack releases. I'd go to the brewery whenever
you have to
I
vote
can.
with your dollars.
But it's like, man, it sucks.
So that's it does. The problem is that's what you get from the, I don't want to say saturation, but the proliferation of the craft beer market.
Yeah.
Because how many of these beers do we bring in from Tavour? They're
all over the place.
$8, $9 a can, right?
Yeah.
We'll have one,
I
right?
think about that a lot.
So the two we've had today, these are 2 cans we brought in.
Mm-hmm.
They're not living or surviving off of
No.
us buying 2 cans of their beer. Talking about how great they are. They're both very good beers.
But
That-
sorry
Okay.
to cut in.
No, go.
But these two beers, you read the laundry list of everything that goes into those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting value for money. Yeah, I paid $8 for this Ale Apothecary, but that's the thing. All this effort is being put into some of these new and tasty beers. How much energy can they expand growing their business, getting into the distribution, all that stuff, especially when, like you said, the craft beer market right now, you got 10,000 some breweries. Everyone's going, there's only so many beers being drank.
Yeah.
There's a limited number of beers being drank because everyone's kind of getting health conscious and or going to seltzers, all that stuff. So yes, the potential customer base for craft beer is probably growing, but the amount of stuff, the sheer amount of volume of options probably isn't going to allow 10,000 craft breweries to continue to exist, because we're 10 years into the kind of craft boom.
Yeah.
And as an industry matures, stores are going to close, breweries are going to close, things are going to fail. And that's the sad reality of what this industry is, because it is literally, you have to hit the ground running. You have to have good beer, or you're toast. You either make it in the first 6 months and then you can, make it as long as you want, or if you have an exit strategy. Hey, I'm hoping that
you get bought out and then
have an exit. Hey, you know what?
They talked about maybe trying to get a buyer. That's what it sounds like. That maybe they tried to.
Maybe they shift to a go.
Because I think the people owning that's not their full-time job. Like, they have other jobs. Yeah. Like, this was like a craft or a passion of theirs. And this is the other thing, is you talk about like the craft or these things. They brought in a new brewer recently, and I think that maybe they hit a low period. Not to say that I haven't always enjoyed their beer, but like, they went through a period of like, they were odd. They were trying to do kind of weird, funky, different things.
Yeah.
And maybe that didn't hit. And by the time they got this new brewer in, you've already kind of dug a hole maybe, and it's not getting the turnaround as quick as you need it. I'm just hypothesizing. I don't know. I just think that there used to be a time where you could have these breweries that, like, I mean, it is not a big space. I don't know what the rent or those types of things might do for them.
Also, probably compounded the issue.
But they have space, or they had a space that, like, you would think if you could fill that a couple of nights a week, you should be good. But now, maybe people are going in, having one and leaving. They're not sitting for a whole night. They're not doing, I don't know. Like,
and that's where the competition comes in too, is because are you going to get an odd-odder every time you go out and have beers?
No.
Well, no. We spread our beer love around, and so I'll go in there, and it might be 2 months before you go back in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's McDonald's. You have people that go there every single day for lunch.
I don't think I'd get fired
if you went to
a brewery every day for lunch.
Oh, but you know what I mean. Like, the companies that survive or the bigger companies, like, it's that repetition. And when the whole thing with the craft beer industry is, I want to try a little bit of this. I want to see what's out there. I don't know.
Maybe they're just the untapped
panties.
Like,
I don't even know
exactly.
The untappedness of it all, of trying the new thing. And I'm guilty of it too. I walk up and down. I walk up and down the Fred Meyer aisle, and it's like, what different thing? Yeah, what haven't I had?
Yep.
And it really has to be like, I need some kind of beer, and nothing here that's new is in my price point or looks worthwhile for me to then go, okay, now I'm just going to buy that other thing.
And my beer buying habits are completely shot, because it's now. Have we talked about this brewery before?
Right.
Is this style something we want to talk about?
Yeah.
And I walk the craft beer case every time I go into the store, and I go, oh man, that Black Raven. I need to try another Black.
Right.
Oh crap! But we've done
already reviewed a bunch.
We've done 3 episodes. I enjoy their beer. I buy it and drink it off pod, but
Yeah.
we have to.
Great
Senior
content.
thing,
And
yeah.
we're a little bit different in that regard.
But how many people just do that naturally? Go,
Yep.
hey, I tried that beer last week. Let's try this one. Let's try, because there's just, you go to the single section. There's like 36 options now or more
Oh,
way
yeah.
more.
to build a 6-pack.
Mm-hmm.
How many people just go, oh, I'm just going to grab a random 6, call it a day. And
Yeah.
if you're a craft brewery and you put your stuff out into distribution and people are buying your cans onesie twosies instead of a 24-pack, maybe that's a impact too.
Yeah, harder to make everything make sense.
All right.
But pour one out for Odd Otter,
Yeah.
one of the real ones.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed. I forgot what I had at Brew 53 this year.
I was going to say, they were at both of the
Yeah.
beer fests
Yeah.
that we went
They
to
were-
this year.
Well represented both beer fest. What was it? It was like a tropical something. Forgot what it was.
Oh, I'd have to look. I
Rip.
didn't.
I'm trying to
Well,
think if there's anything.
hopefully, out of the ashes.
Yeah, I'm hoping
comes
something
back.
happens. Because they do leave it kind of open. I mean, they're obviously closing, but like,
It's a great name.
and they have some
The
of
branding is so good.
they like classic paintings and drawings, but with otters in
Yeah.
places of where the people were.
Mm.
So
They got a great gimmick.
I swear, man, if they're
Great
selling any
shtick.
of those tonight, I might take one. I might get one. All right, to go to something, end on a positive note,
Sure.
and then we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah, big finish.
Who is this from? This is
This is
Vine
originally
Pear.
from Rebel,
Right, but
reposted by me.
I'm giving the
The site.
props to the actual
site?
people who
Okay.
Yeah,
wrote
no,
the
I
story.
didn't
Yes,
write anything.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
So this is Nico. I'm not going to try and butcher your last name, but by
Oh, I
Nico
saw that,
from
yeah,
Vine
yeah.
Pear.
Can I get some more of the Ale
which one do you want?
Apothecary as we listen to this list?
And which is your? I
Which
don't
is
wanna-
your not,
You
yeah.
do not want to mix these two
Don't
beers.
pepper your apothecary.
Don't pepper my size
All
on
right,
bro.
so they got a whole list here: 30 best breweries in the country
Thank you.
right now, according to beer bars. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look enough to determine. We
I did.
consulted publicans, beverage directors, and buyers from some of the country's top beer pubs. So these are their answers gathered for new and well-established names and a wide range of focus.
Have you guys gone through the list yet?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a handful that we've had just
I think
on this
about 5.
brewery.
I was going to have anyone guess how many from Washington are in this top 30.
2.
Yes.
I guess I should
The
have waited
guy
for
who
somebody.
did
who,
not-
No,
I mean, he
it's fine.
posted it.
I
so-
posted it.
Oh,
but
you
I
okay,
read
so
it. I
everyone's-
posted it like a month ago.
Yeah, it was beginning.
That's long enough
Yeah.
for you to forget.
So it doesn't seem like there's any particular order. They just
No,
have
this
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of just scroll through, and then we'll pause on the ones
That we know.
actually know
Yeah, yeah.
and can talk about. So you have North Park out of San Diego, Arcane Ale Works, Largo, Florida, Masthead Brewing out of Cleveland. I don't know why you got a Masthead in Cleveland, but OEC Brewing.
Yep.
We've
That
had,
one, that one kind of
Their
surprised.
dark ale.
yes, we had to do some
Or dark
research
lager,
on.
right?
We had the summertime. Their summertime lager was the actual
Did we have
one,
multiples? Didn't we?
and then we did their knock Czech dark lager.
The Czech dark lager. I remember that,
that
one.
one was solid.
Yeah.
And yeah, we pontificated about what their name came from.
Yeah, so this is OEC Brewing out of Oxford, Connecticut, and this is highlighted by a owner and brewer from a place in Florida that posted it. But so cool to see OEC on there. Halfway Crooks out of Atlanta, Schilling Beer Company, which threw me off because there's a Schilling cider
Yeah, I was-
Separate,
locally.
yeah.
This is out of Littleton,
I had
New
to do some
Hampshire.
googling.
Ghost Town Brewing out of Oakland. Birmingham District Brewing out of Birmingham, Alabama. Light the Lamp out of Grays Lake, Illinois. Suarez Family Brewing out of Hudson. Good Word Brewing, Duluth, Georgia. Offset Beer, I don't think we had here. I've had somewhere, though.
We
I
haven't had it on pod.
Okay, out of Park City, Utah.
I've scrolled past a couple of their offerings on Tavour, but they were sold out.
Okay, I've definitely had their stuff. Jackie O's Brewery, Athens, Ohio. Oxbow Brewing, Newcastle,
There we go.
Maine. And then we're into
Drecker.
Drecker Brewing out of
I was
Fargo.
I was so happy when I saw this. I not surprised, but I was happy that it was
I mean, and I've seen it before, but that building is so great.
Brewhalla.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we cannot do it in 24. I cannot do another trip. I have already
Yeah.
more trips than I can handle.
I was gonna say,
20.
do we stop in North Dakota on our way to Germany?
Wait,
Maybe.
2025.
4.
You fly into North Dakota.
Okay.
And then drive to Indianapolis.
Ooh, for the 500.
Yes.
Okay. I'm picking
okay.
up.
It's at least a little closer.
There we go. No. I like it.
I'm flying both times.
So this is
I'm not driving.
a guy out of Auburn, Maine, talking about Drecker and just saying like they haven't had access to their stuff for very long, but just massive,
Fantastic.
Yeah, just people.
Every time.
It's blowing up. I mean, the smoothie sours. Previewing what we might be doing in a few episodes. One of theirs has already made my list. I already started it.
We like to party.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. All right, so then Imbibe out of Reno, Nevada, which I feel like I've heard of, but we have not had. Allagash Brewing, Portland, Maine. It's pretty well known, pretty predominant. New Heights Brewing out of Nashville.
Nashville, but they're like via San Diego.
Oh, really?
He started at Mission Brewing in San Diego.
Oh, he started there, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not. Oh, okay. I've been to Mission Brewing.
So that's what I'm saying. So they
It's a
got
cool
a little bit of coaching
Okay.
tree.
Oh, yeah, I got his start there. Huh. All right. Man, that would be kind of sweet to be able to go to Nashville and all of a sudden get San Diego IPAs.
Just get,
Right?
get a nice West Coast
Yeah.
middle of the country.
Brewery ARS in Philadelphia. Fluvial Brewing, Harrison, Maine.
And then one of your faves,
Uh,
or your standout favorite, right?
I'm wearing the hat.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I was there.
I didn't want to say I was shocked, but I was shocked that this was made the list.
Oh,
because it is
Of-
smaller.
from
Yeah.
from a national
Yes,
perspective.
and it is. It makes sense when you look at who listed it. So I was here 2 days ago.
Okay, you should probably say who the brewery is.
Structures Brewing
Okay.
in Bellingham, Washington.
Yeah.
My go-to favorite. I had to basically be told we needed to leave to be able to go. I had 3 beers while I was there.
And you said, pick me up on your way home.
The new place, they have 2 locations now in Bellingham. One allows kids, and it's massive, and they have food. Check, check, check.
Mhm.
Outdoor space on the water. Fantastic. They had a black IPA. I prefer to call them CDAs, but fantastic. They always do like one smoothie at a time. At a kiwi strawberry. And then they had a dessert beer, which was like a peanut butter cup one.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
No pickle beer?
Not a single one.
How many did your wife and or child smell while you were consuming them?
2.
Oh, okay.
The black IPA, she was changing the job when I got it, and she didn't. She knows it's
Well, and a black IPA is
yes,
not going
but the kiwi strawberry and the peanut butter cup,
yeah.
both. So I'm going to do this real quick. So being in Seattle area, so this is from Browers, which is a well-known beer bar in Seattle. So it makes sense that it's coming from that. I wish it was like somebody from states away, but honestly, they're not going to be able to get.
No.
But to have them call out structures for that. Being in the Seattle area, we have almost too many breweries to choose from. Not complaining. Some of my favorites don't have much draft availability, though. There are a few I try to always have on draft. Structures is one of them. Because owners James Alexander and Brian Cardwell are wizards with hazy IPAs. We've done multiple collabs with them, including Loam Temple, which is great, and Proceeds Go to the Northwest Trail Work, and Fresh Wave, highlighting fresh hops. They do their house IPA is a hazy called Fuzz, and they basically switch out the hops all the times for it. So you have like the cans will show up as like green fuzz, purple fuzz, white fuzz, like green fuzz. That's all. But
So not like a hop name
No.
fuzz. But they just
yeah,
cool. That's yeah. I like
I love it. If you were in Bellingham,
So you can order by color?
And
you
you
should
should
sure one of my
you should
favorites.
never go to Bellingham.
Yeah,
Nobody ever visit or buy property in Bellingham.
please stop buying
Just
property in Bellingham.
Stay away.
Moving
But it's
on.
beautiful.
Yes, Jester King out of Austin, which we
Yeah, we
referenced earlier.
talked about.
Bottle Logic out of Anaheim. Gazelig Brewing out of Newton, Iowa, which I learned from Ted Lasso. Gazelig is like just a happy, comfortable, wonderful feeling. Oh yeah, is a word that means cozy in Dutch. Hella Coastal, which is my favorite
Yeah,
name.
that's a
I
great
don't know
name.
why. Like what? Literally, it's not called Hella Coastal Brewery, just Hella
It's
Coastal.
hella coastal.
Out of Oakland, Fox Farm, Salem, Connecticut, Intervoice, Decatur. This list is longer than I remembered. Forager, Rochester, Minnesota.
We had Humble Forager.
Her?
Yeah. I believe, isn't that
This is just Forager Brewing.
yeah, I thought they did the Humble Forager.
You check it while I keep going.
I think so. I think we.
I would be surprised.
I would. I don't know.
Out of Rochester, Minnesota, maybe. Tactical Brewing out of Orlando, Florida.
And then next up.
My other favorite brewery.
Yeah, right. Also, did you get royalties on those T-shirts?
No, we did get a free T-shirt though.
Royalties enough.
And ironically, where I'm going tomorrow,
There you go.
Stoop Brewing,
There you go.
who just opened their third location. They took
Nice.
over
Good for them.
Optimism Brewing in Capitol Hill. It is a massive, beautiful building. So we've waxed poetic before about Stoop on here, but this also again comes from another Seattle beer shop, Chuck's Hop Shop. So it makes a ton of sense. I think the really key thing that I want to talk about for this one is like they are not, he talks about they're not hyper niche in the styles of beer they produce. They make something for everyone, a robust porter, a crispy Citra hopped IPA, perfectly balanced Northwest Red, clean, well-made lagers, hazy, juicy IPAs. And they have cans. They were one of the first
Forever.
that, for COVID, they were one of the first that came out in cans that you never seen them in cans before.
Oh, okay.
And they were everywhere. They used to have the same label used for all of them. It was hello. It's like the hello, I'm blah, 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 Alex sticker.
Yeah.
And it's just the different beers on there. But yeah, they really were pushing it and doing it. So you read these lists, and that's what I say. There's one I was going to put in here, and I was like, I don't know any of these places. But to go through that list and be like,
I know them.
hell yeah.
I know them. I know them. Yeah.
So,
and not just know them, but
yeah.
I support, love. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, talk about how sad it is for Odd, and that's the thing. Structures gets good distribution here, even being 100-something miles away.
Yep.
Stoop, they're in our immediate area. Massive distribution. You can almost always find them when you go to any bottle shop. Not necessarily like
not a convenience store or grocery store, but
you're going to find them always available there. And so that seems to be kind of the key right now for surviving and doing it. But I did give the Structures a bunch of money in the recent days. I bought this hat while I was there.
there you go.
And I will give Stoop a bunch of money tomorrow when I meet up with like 15 of my friends.
There you go.
So
Forager is not the same as Humble Forager.
yeah, it's
Two
what I
different.
figured.
Yeah.
The Foragers in Minnesota, Humble Foragers in Wisconsin. So
It's the same.
same area.
place.
Same area.
All right.
Cool. Well, our
Nice.
glasses are deliciously empty.
Yeah.
Hopefully yours are too, and we will catch you next time. So is this like the runner-up bowl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Like both of them going,
Why are we here?
There are over 20 opt-outs from Florida State.
oh, it's gotten so crazy in
I think
recent
even
years.
Georgia has a few. I had heard originally there weren't any, but I think they now have a few.
I don't have a problem with it. If college coaches leave their contracts all the time.
That part I don't mind.
I have no issue leaving the transfer portal when did you see that Chip Kelly video
No.
where he
I avoided
he
Chip Kelly.
outlined, this is how all football teams should be independent.
Oh, you're right. No,
independent
I
conferences.
actually did agree. Yes. I think it should be.
and that the NCAA should have been paying players to begin with. Then you don't
Yes.
have NIL.
Dang it! I have to agree with Chip Kelly.
Not to begin with, but in the last
Yes.
25 years.
Yes.
With where it's going now, you got this.
They're
You
not
could-
students. I mean, they're getting a degree.
This
but
isn't student
also-
athletics. This is making money.
And,
Yes.
and your degree's pretty much worthless in the first place. So,
Yeah, a degree doesn't. One of the
Um,
greatest spoofs,
yep.
lies ever told. All it is you can sit and do work. for 4
Brian
years.
says that as he's trying to convince people to get degrees. But, yeah, no, it's absolute BS. It gets you into the interview. It's gotten me into interviews.
Yeah.
And that's literally it.
I mean,
Then
I
it's
got
all the
one of
soft.
mine.
It's all the soft skills you learn
Yep.
on the job.
100%.
I mean, I got a job as a freaking auditor. Yes, with my massive math background.
With a
And-
history degree?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's crank out another one. If you've enjoyed what you just heard, make sure you subscribe to get new episodes when they drop, and don't forget to leave us a review. If you want to see what we're drinking when we're not on the pod, you can follow us on social media at ABeerReview. Feel free to send us any beer suggestions that we can make Chad go buy off of Tavour.